Well, hi, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of Eat Gakers. I got a lot to talk about in this video today, an awful lot. And I went to go see my urologist, the surgeon that did this double procedure on me for the carcinoma. And he said that the problems that I have are permanent, which I figured they were. And he gave me the pathology report and really went into depth as far as what my options are. And he said, first off, that my prostate is full of cancer. And he said, but it hasn't gone outside of the prostate, but there's a high probability I'll lose my prostate. And he said, with the bladder, he said that was full of high grade, fast spreading cancer. And he says, you got two options with that. And he started with option one. And option one was horrific. I mean, as he was talking and explaining what would be done for option one, as I sat there and listened to him talk, I was thinking in my mind, there is no way in hell I would go through that hell. There's just no way. They use a bacteria that they go up inside of you and they coat your bladder wall on the inside with this bacteria that is used to treat TB, tuberculosis. They discovered years ago that it also kills kidney cancer cells. But the thing is you got to do it over and over and over again. Like for so long, and then they have to monitor it. They have to go back up in there and take a look with a camera. It causes other infections that you have to be put on medications for because it's so highly contagious, because it is a bacteria that they put into your body that when you urinate it out, so other people don't, get it because it's contagious, you have to wash the toilet bowl with bleach. And I'm thinking, holy shit. And the more he talked about how this is all done, and it's stick this up inside of you, pull this out, and go up in there with a camera and pull it out, and then go up in there and then coat it again and pull it out, and then you get infections and you pee fire, and I'm just like, oh my God, no way. Option two, full bladder removal. And I said, there's no way I'm doing option one. There's just no way. I says, I've had enough crap put up inside of me. I says, I've been suffering because of, the things they put up inside of me. And I said, no more of that. I said, I don't want any more of that. He says, well, then you'd have to lose the bladder, because he says the cancer that it is, because it's so strong and aggressive and it's a high grade cancer, he says that it comes back 99.99% of the time anyway. You clean it out, you have a window of nothing other than misery through all the things they have to do in between, and then it comes back, and then you do it again, and you go through all those things I just mentioned, and then it comes back. And it's like, my God, what a sadistic, torturous thing to go through. And it's like, no, thank you. So I said, well, you'll just have to take the damn thing out. Just take it out. Because I says, what happens if we do nothing and we just leave it alone and do nothing? He says, it makes it through the bladder wall. And he says, it heads straight for the liver and the lungs. And he says, and then you're a dead man. That's it. And he said, so he says, I agree with you. The best option is to take it out. He said that's just the best way to just forego the suffering and the misery and playing around with this cancer. He says it's best to just take it out. And so he said that there's a surgeon that he knows very well. He's out in Buffalo. He has nothing to do with Roswell. It's a totally different hospital. I don't know if it's Buffalo General or where it's done at, but they'll give me the details. But they're going to get a hold of me in a week, and then they will be setting this up to go through this surgery that he said is a major surgery. It's a complicated surgery, and it's really involved. He said it even involves my colon, and I'd be in the hospital longer. So here we go again. And he says, and then after that, I'd probably lose my prostate too. I'm thinking just, holy shit. And I said, so does that do it? That once you get rid of the urinary parts of the body, of the anatomy, being that this cancer loves to attack that part of the body, I says, once you get rid of all the plumbing and everything, I said, is that it? And he says, no. No, of course not. He says, you still have your lone kidney, and he says, and there's a high probability it can go up and take out your last and only kidney, and then that's a death sentence. And they can't remove that. Well, I mean, they can remove it, but then you're just living on dialysis the rest of your life, and I'm not doing that. So I'm screwed if it goes to the other kidney. But he said that's where it could go, because that's really the only thing left of the urinary system. I lost one kidney, then the bladder, then the prostate, all the tubing in between, and then right into the kidney. And I says, is that it? And he says, no. He said this cancer can go anywhere in the body, even to the brain. So I told him, I says, look, I said, can I ask you something? He says, sure. I said, will you stay my doctor regardless of what I decide? In other words, if I do something that maybe you don't agree with, will you stay my doctor, or will you release me as a patient like the other urologist did and just tell me to go somewhere else? He says, absolutely not. He says, I'm going to be with you through all of this, regardless of what you decide. He says, you will be my patient and I will be your doctor. And I says, well, then I want you to help me with something. And he said, what's that? And I says, I want you to help me not to live. I want you to help me to die. I've already made up my mind. And I have damn good reason for this. And he said he'd do that. He said he'd do that. I says, all I want is for medical professionals to just make me comfortable when that time comes and just suppress the suffering as much as possible so I can pass without being in freaking some kind of horrific, nightmarish anguish. And he said he'd do that. And my insurance covers hospice 100% with not one penny out of pocket. Thank God. So in 1 week, this surgical team up in the city of Buffalo is going to contact me. And then here I go again, making trips up to Buffalo, getting stuck in traffic, paying tolls, and having to go out and deal with this bullshit like I did when I went to Roswell. And I'm still urinating blood, and I haven't eaten a meal in 8 days. I can't eat. I have no appetite. My stomach doesn't growl. I never feel hungry. And no one will tell me why. My primary prescribed me a medication to give me an appetite, but I just don't feel like eating. I just want nothing to do with food. I don't even want to snack. I don't even want to drink anything. I don't know what's doing that. And, God, I just can't believe this crap. And then if that wasn't bad enough, you guys, if that wasn't bad enough, out of all these days that have passed, the day that we had to get this phone call. It had to come on the same day. I mean, why would it be any different? Why? Bridget's attorney called regarding the property, and they talked for quite a while on the phone. And though it's not set in stone, it sounds very highly that she cannot back out of this deal of the house being sold. Isn't that beautiful? These people really want this place and they're going for it, and the lawyer's trying to find any way to get out of it, and it don't sound like he can. And that would mean that we would have to move. And I'm in no shape to move. I'm not allowed to lift anything because of the pee in the blood. I can't lift anything. I'm not allowed to lift any weight. I just can't believe the bullshit. I really, really, really don't know what to do now, but I'll tell you one thing I'm not doing, and that is taking off at this time in my life with what I've got going on right now, 1,000 miles away, only to die in a state I don't even like. I'm not doing it. It's too fucking late for that. It's just too late. It's too late. She was in a hurry and wanted to go to Iowa, and I told her, I says, if you can't undo the sale, then you got what you wanted. You got what you wanted. Now it's my turn to get what I want. And that's why I told the doctor, I didn't even let Bridget go into the appointment with me. She stayed out in the van in the parking lot. I says, this is something I'm doing on my own. You did what you did on your own without me involved and didn't listen to me. I'm going to do this on my own. And that's what I'm doing. And I've made up my mind and I've made up my decision. And I told my doctor today, I says, I don't even want to live anymore. Because I just can't seem to just live without there always being something crazy going on and drama all the time and plagued with health problems and I just can't seem to live a normal life. And I've had enough of it. And so to top it all off, I'm facing an upcoming surgery of losing my bladder, then my prostate, and spending God knows how long in hospitals and suffering and then having to move. Where? I got nowhere to go. But she wanted to go to Iowa, so they take this house over, she can go to Iowa. I'm not going. Where I go, I don't know. But I can't believe I got all this to think about. I mean, if I couldn't possibly have more shit to think about in my life. It's just unbelievable. And then people wonder why I don't want to go on in life. I mean, it's unbelievable. And the fact that I'm her legal husband and I don't even have any say in this matter. I mean, so I don't even have any legal say as her husband. It's like, why the fuck am I even married? I'm done, you guys, and I'm done. I'm not even going to bother with praying anymore. I'm so done. I'm so done. I really don't need you guys to pray for him. I'm done. My mind's made up. I've lost all hope. I'm more than ready to get the hell out of here. Out of this world. And to be honest with you, I can't wait until it happens. And if you want to unsubscribe and not follow my channel anymore, I understand. I get it. And at this point, it doesn't even matter to me. People can do whatever they want to do because people are always going to do what they want to do anyway. I have to worry about my decisions. I got to worry about me right now. And just can't believe this shit. The lawyer is trying to find some way to void this deal, but it doesn't sound like it's going to get done. And I really didn't need this right now. I thought it was done in time. Technically, legally, it wasn't. So, and I'm not going to another state and starting all over. I can't keep starting over. I can't. I'm done with that. I'm done with starting over. But all I'm going to be doing now is just updates until I'm gone. And then that's it for my channel. And if you don't want to stick around, don't. At this point, I don't care. I'm not even worried about my channel or nothing. I'm just beside myself with how stuff just keeps getting worse. I'll see you guys in the next one.